Hi, I'm Fire Chief Shad Whitehead with Livonia Fire and Rescue. In the next few minutes, you're going to be able to see a room fire up close and personal. We are doing this so that you can see and better understand how live fire actually behaves. Obviously, you've seen many movies and television shows just as I have. They all depict fire as a minor background distraction, where the highest paid actors are the heroes, where they don't want their faces or images to be obscured by personal protective equipment that must be worn in the harsh conditions of a room fire. What we are seeing is a fire started at a testing facility for the National Institute for Standards and Technology. The furniture in the test room is all commercially purchased furniture, very similar to the furnishings you and I may have in our living rooms. It is decorated in the same manner as a typical living room. It is the same size as a typical living room, so you are seeing nothing out of the ordinary in terms of room size, furnishings, or layout. The fire started in the corner of the couch. This can simulate a candle that was knocked over, a dropped cigarette, a space heater too close to the furniture, or any of a multitude of potential fire starts. At this point, the fire is small enough that it can be put out with water or a fire extinguisher quite easily. But this one won't be put out. The fire grows, heating materials around it so that they will start to give off toxic smoke and gases. You can see the smoke begin to rise. Although it looks quite harmless, it contains many toxic byproducts of combustion from the flames below it. All smoke contains carbon monoxide, which can disorient you, even in your own home. It makes you sleepy and can lead to unconsciousness and even death. More home fire deaths are attributed to smoke inhalation than fire exposure by a 3-to-1 ratio. The heat is rising so rapidly now that the room has temperatures ranging from under 100 degrees at the floor level to a high of about 300 degrees at the ceiling level at this point. In any fire, the heat and smoke tend to rise, so crawling low is always the best way out of a smoky building. A standard crawl is best. The belly crawl takes too much time, and there are some fire gases that are heavier than air that can accumulate right at the lowest level in the room. Obviously, what we see in one room does not mean the conditions in the next room are the same. They will be different, as this fire is in a compartment made up of walls, ceiling, and floor. Where there are usually open doorways into the next room or compartment, that room is further from the ignition source and, if unchecked, it will go through its fire growth in a little while. At this point in the fire, you will see how thick the smoke layer is built up across the ceiling. It is so thick that the upper portion of the room is completely dark. The only light is from the flaming materials themselves. If you stood up into this smoky layer, it would be impossible to see. You wouldn't be able to take a breath without pain, and the heat would damage the linings of your respiratory tract almost instantly. The high temperature at the upper portions of the room make the lighter materials easier to ignite, like lampshades, drapes, and pictures on the wall. With more fuel starting to burn, the heat comes from several different sources, and the fire is growing. The heat is also building up rapidly. The floor temperature is probably about 200 degrees now, but the ceiling temperature is up to about 700 degrees. This fire is quite a bit different than the one we saw just a short time ago, isn't it? The heat is building up at a high rate of speed, and the fuels in the room are giving off gases that are adding to the flame spread. There is no fuel attached to the ceiling. The phenomenon you are seeing is called rollover, which is where the gases that accumulate at the ceiling level are so hot that they ignite across the ceiling. The ceiling temperature in a room that is rollover is over 1,000 degrees. Once fire has taken over several fuel sources and is rolling over the ceiling, it doesn't take long for the rest of the fuels to heat up to a temperature that they will catch fire very quickly. The term for this is flashover, and it is a sudden fireball that ignites all of the fuels catching fire at the same time in a room. That was a very dramatic 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Take the lessons from this piece. You don't have much time to escape from a fire. Fire is hot and it is black. And smoke alarms give you an early warning and let you know that you need to take immediate action in order to survive.